Termites have been around since the time of the dinosaurs. Besides causing damage, termites have been revered as an analogy for hard work. Eastgate, a mixed office complex and shopping mall covering half a city block in the business center of Harare, is a unique complex not only in Zimbabwe but internationally. This mall is ventilated, cooled and heated entirely by natural means. It is efficient and it works. The acclaimed architect Mick Pearce says Eastgate is modeled on the self-cooling termite mounds that maintain the temperature inside their nest day and night.
The challenge was to build a building which was as comfortable as an air-conditioned building without air conditioning. To do that, I had to make a building which used the natural environment to cool itself. And that led me to look at animals in nature and how they make their houses. That inspired me. I thought, well, if animals can do that without Zessa, then there's got to be a way of doing it if we copy that system. So really, that led me to this new approach to architecture, which we call bio-mimicry. It's copying natural processes.
Pearce says the air is then vented into the building's floors and offices before exiting via chimneys at the top.
Now the termite's nest is warmer usually than the outside, particularly at night. And so you get air rising up a chimney. And that pulls air in through the holes that they go out to forage. So that's how they breathe. It's more than engineering because, clearly all that happens there is a chimney, which is an architectural thing. It's not an engine. And then the termites themselves live in the chimney, if you like. So what I'm thinking of in my building design is how people living in the building actually provide the heat. That's why we need air conditioning. But I said, and the client worked with me on this, we're very keen to use night cooling, the night air, to cool the building down at night and get rid of all the heat from the previous day, and then store that cooth, we call it, in concrete structure and in chimneys and in tunnels and things that we formed in the building, so that the following day we could cool the air coming in before it went into the room. We've formed floors that have hollows underneath them, and there are concrete teeth that sit in that hollow, and we blow air through. So the concrete teeth are cooled down at night, and the next day when the air is pushed through, that is cooled by the teeth. So what we're doing is using concrete as a thermal store. We call it a thermal store, and you can actually calculate this, and that's what we did. We were the first to do it in the world, actually, and that's how we built it, and that's how it performs, provided people remember to turn on the fans at the bottom. But that's how it works.
Eastgate is largely made of concrete. The jagged gable and detail and the green north and south facades also aid in moderating the temperature.
If you look at that picture of a cactus in a desert, it has spikes on it. And the problem with a cactus is in a desert it needs to get rid of heat. And it does that by a prickly surface, and at night, because it has such a large surface area, it can disperse its heat much more efficiently than that. That's why Eastgate looks prickly, and and it has a lot of things sticking out of it, and we've even got plants growing on it. That's all about keeping it cool. So it's not just the night air and the termite story. It's also copying the cactus.
It uses only 10% of the energy of a conventional building at its size, saving energy costs.
Here we won an award for environmental. There was an environmental award, and in America there's a shopping centre award given for innovation, and we won that. It's something they held every year. The South Africans gave it the Steelwork Award and the Concrete Award. We won the first prize in both those.
Besides being inspired by termites, Pearce says Eastgate reflects the Zimbabwean culture and history.
And in the case of Eastgate, the outside, the two blocks are outside, are heavy stone buildings. And they look like they're made of stone. And the inside is made of steel and cables. Great Zimbabwe, it's the most amazing building I've ever seen, I think. And it's built of granite in very interesting ways. And it's also painted by nature. It has colours and it's weathered beautifully. Now I wanted to try and get that quality with concrete. And then the patterns. I was interested in traditional stool making. You have some very interesting architecture, and I wanted to reflect that in the main architecture. Also, at the entrance to Eastgate, you'll see spikes sticking out, and I know that in some traditional villages, you have a wall made of sticks sticking up with sharp spikes. That's to keep out the spirits. What we've done is to make a street, which is the Mall, that connects 2nd Street with 3rd Street. And we've hung over that street the lifts and the bridges. And that means that the movement of people doesn't take up space in the building, and therefore it doesn't have to be ventilated because it's in the open. It also means that you get a public street running right through the middle of the building, which is very exciting. And you can put your shops at the lower level and then offices above with the skywalk. And it works fine. It works very well for security, for instance. You won't get the Tsotsi venturing into the Mall because he's worried all the time about being seen.
Only 12% of Eastgate's construction material was imported.
We did have aluminium windows, and we had cables, which we imported. But we spent a lot of time looking around for local skills and local materials. Like all the concrete, all the sand, all the cement. And of course the people, I think, are stone builders. It's in their blood.